Hello, Weekly Piano here. We have a great question and answer for you today. This comes from Jan from the Netherlands, and the answer may prove very valuable to many of you. Here's the question. He says, I really love your videos, but at the same time, it's so overwhelming what you can and should practice. You gave some terrific advice in your video on becoming a well-rounded jazz piano player, but how do you schedule and organize your practice sessions on the short term and the longer term? Great question. Many people are very motivated to practice, but they don't know what to practice. So this video is going to just give you a basic rundown of what I do and what I've done for a long time now as far as my practice schedule. Jan has 1 hour a day. I made a schedule for 4 hours a day, but it can be broken down. I broke it down in percentages, and I've attached the spreadsheet of percentages so you can make this into any amount of time. But this will cover all the basics to continue to become a better jazz piano player. So let's start with the chart. I'm just going to go in order here. In a 4-hour practice schedule, I do 10 minutes of scales, and that's just the basics, you know. Put a metronome on. I start my metronome at 40 beats per minute. So if this were at, this is like, well, actually, no, not 40. I'd say 50. So start there and just do one octave. So. And so on and so forth, and then double it. And triplets. Maybe do 2 octaves. And then, just. And so on and so forth. Keep speeding it up. Do every key. And every scale. Make sure you can get that. And, if you need to learn the scales, you'll need to spend more than 10 minutes. But that's if you already know the scales. So that's 10 minutes on scales. 10 minutes on Behringer exercises. I'm pretty sure that's how you actually pronounce it. I don't think it's Behringer like the speakers. But these are exercises. I'll see if I can attach that spreadsheet too. These are exercises that Herbie Hancock introduced me to that are very, very, very powerful to get more agility in your fingers, and it's basically like and it's so on and so forth. There are a bunch of those exercises. I'm not going to go through all of them right now, but there'll be an attached spreadsheet. Or not spreadsheet, an attached thing of sheet music for it. But again, put a metronome on so you have like and make sure you're getting that super accurate. If you need to put on 16th notes, I usually use a Boss metronome that has all the different options on it. I don't usually use the keyboard metronome. So you can make it count 16th notes for you to make sure that your 16th notes are actually accurate. So yeah, spend 20 minutes on Behringer exercises. Then there's another exercise that I just call Jim's exercise, which I'll have to show it to you because it's not written down. My old piano teacher, Jim Trumpeter, showed me this, and I don't know where he got it, but it's just like, so if this is your metronome speed, it's like this. every key. So I'm gonna do it twice as fast, but I'll do it in this key now just to show you. It's like. Key, so on and so forth. Definitely do that. It really helps with hand strength. Okay, so we've got Jim's exercise. Now thumb agility. This is another one that Herbie suggested I do, so I do it every day. It's like this. You pick your one note 2 octaves apart with your thumb, and you start with your pointer finger and do a half step in one direction and a half step in the other direction. So it's like this. And then a half step away from that, so now it's a whole step from the thumb. And now it's a minor third from the thumb. And now it's a major third from the thumb. And now it's a fourth from the thumb, right? Now it's a tritone from the thumb. Now it's a fifth from the thumb. And now you use the next finger, so the middle finger. And so do that, get the same thing, the same notes, and then use your fourth finger. And your fifth finger, which gets really hard. I wasn't doing it with the metronome just now, obviously. Oh, am I moving the... I'm like hitting the microphone stand. Sorry, I'll stop doing that. Okay. That is... I gotta keep looking at my notes here. That's the thumb agility exercise. Okay, so we got that. Those are the basic not musical exercises. The thumb agility just for 5 minutes. You know, time it out. So like, do it as slow as you need to. Make sure you're not going faster than you can go, because you'll develop a really rocky sense of time if you try to just rush through everything really quickly. You need to definitely take it at the pace that you're comfortable at and push yourself, but don't push yourself past the ability to actually keep solid time, because that ability will stretch and you'll get better at it faster if you are keeping good time at a slower tempo. Anyway, so now Bach. I recommend 30 minutes on Bach. That might be a little... Oh, well, okay. Yeah, when I say Bach, I have a couple of things that aren't quite actually Bach that I use, but 30 minutes on Bach, or a composer that has a similar, you know, where it's challenging. So I do 3 pieces by Bach. One is the jig of his G minor something or other suite for piano. I'll see. I'll look it up. I'll find the catalog number. Oh, when you do it with a metronome. And I usually have the metronome counting triplets to make sure I'm totally accurate. For now, I won't. I'll just put it. So on and so forth. I'll find that for you, though. At least I'll try. So we've got that. The Bach. Oh, then there's another one. That's the minuet in C minor. And then, oh, there's a list transcription of an organ prelude that I do. So on and so forth. Okay, so that's Bach. I also play a couple Chick Corea pieces. I didn't write that in the chart, but there's like the children's songs. I picked a few of those and I do those. This one. This is children's song number 1, I believe. And I'm rushing through this for the sake of not making this video a million years long, but do it at the tempo that it's meant to be. This is with a metronome, so this is meant to be like 90, so I bring the metronome down to 90 and actually do the children's song like this. And then there's another one, I do number 4, I believe it is. That one that's the and then I also like to do number 6 because that's a good, technically challenging one. I love these pieces with ostinatos. There's a shows I can't even play the piece. Shows how tired I am. Jet lagged. I got back from London 2 days ago. Anyway, so that's what I just have it as Bach in the chart, but that's just any pieces that are kind of like that. Just pick ones you like, or do the ones that I'm doing. They work well for me. All right, 20 minutes. You got for 20 minutes of this 4 hours. You're studying, or 8.33% of the time, you're studying theory. Now, this theory is if you don't know all the basics. So you have to make knowing the basics your first mission. So I'm looking at a few notes that I wrote as I'm talking. So go on other YouTube videos, other people. There are plenty of people talking about the basics of music theory, or request a video from me. I'll tell you whatever you want. Also, oh, by the way, you can request videos asking for more detail on any of these exercises or any of that stuff. I'll be happy to give you everything I know, which is not that much. Okay, so the modes, make sure you know all the modes. Be able to execute a 4-octave scale in each mode, so like, you know, C Dorian. Be able to do that better than I just did it. You know, or C natural minor. You know. The modes are, well, I explained the modes in the other video of becoming a well-rounded jazz pianist. So you can go to that video, but and yeah, I won't waste your time with that right now. Okay, so yeah, you know the modes, know all the triads, be able to play a major and minor triad in any key, like D major, D minor. And then, you know, extend that, because this theory extends to, like, so you have your major chord, you have your upper extensions, which starts with the 7, goes to the 9, and this can be any number of qualities. Like, this is a major 9 chord, this is a minor 9 chord, This is a minor major chord. This is a dominant 7 chord. You got to know what all these are because they're very, very important. They're used all the time. So either request a video on that or find it somewhere on YouTube. Let me make sure that this phone is still recording. I'm just recording it on my iPhone. Is it, please? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. I can keep going. All right. So we've got... I didn't just teach you all the theory. You have to go out and study the theory because that would take another 10 videos to give you a bunch of awesome music theory. Okay, comping. Now, for the comping part of this, that's another 20 minutes. And it's over 2/5/1s really, but it can also be modal. Make sure, so do a different, focus on a different person each day, a different person's comping. So like, there's McCoy-Tyner's comping technique, which is quartal, you know. I'm pretty sure I have a video where I just explain exactly how to do that, but it's like the... I'm not going to go into... going to that. So that's McCoy-Tyner's comping. Early Herbie comping, where he's doing a lot of the upper stuff, like very big band like. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing here, but like 2/5/1 in C for this would be like. And I'm happy to give you a video on that if you want. Just on any of these, ask for them. So Herbie's comping, Bill Evans's drop 2 comping. That's really inaccurate what I just did. This is one that I've studied the least, but you know, it's very, very simple. You get the point. It's drop 2 comping, where you take a chord that you do as a cluster, like the 7, 9, 3, 5, and then move the second from the top voicing down an octave, and that's your chord. So then the next one would be that. So then again, it's that. And then your next chord would be like probably that. So then take that note and make it down an octave. You know? So it becomes... Or rather, if you were doing this comping, you could do that. For the B flat major chord, this is... Sorry if I'm getting ahead of myself here. C minor to F7 to B flat major, C minor to F7 to B flat major. Simple 4-note voicings. Bill Evans used a lot of stuff like that. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, and the Oscar Peterson comping, I put that because there are some little cool techniques that Oscar Peterson used a lot, like the like block chord sort of stuff. Messing around now, but that I did a video on that comping. I'm not blocking this with my head right now. I did a video on that style of comping. I won't explain that in its entirety now. Okay, vocabulary. But let me explain a little bit of the Oscar Peterson thing. So it's 1, and then every other note, it's diminished. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sharp 5 or flat 6, 6, 7, 1, and it's just the major chord, the diminished chord, the major pentatonic, and then diminished chord, and then those same notes, major pentatonic, just up an octave in one of them, and then diminished, major pentatonic, diminished, major pentatonic, diminished, and 1. You can do that in any key. And that, so on and so forth. That's an Oscar Peterson thing. Okay, vocabulary. Now, this is another one that you alternate each day. I spend like a half hour on vocabulary. I like to. Okay, so here's what I would suggest. Every other day, pick one of the licks off the sheet that I am giving you in this description. Just look in the description, and just do that as only play that lick for this half hour. So if it's like, that's one of them. This is 2-5-1. But do it slowly, so get your metronome that's fast. So get a nice and, you know. And then every key. So up a half step. Both hands. And then next key. Do it slowly first, but get it as fast as you can comfortably. And the most important thing is doing it in all the keys and getting it swinging and feeling good. Both hands, and then also with comping in the left hand and playing it in the right. Okay, so that's every other day. Now, on the other day, that for vocabulary that you'll alternate, pick one lick from a transcription, but make it not more than 2 bars, and do that in every key. So like there was an Oscar Peterson riff I showed you in another video that's like... something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but get that and just pick that one little bit, and you can do it in both hands. if I can do it. And then do it up. This is 2 metronome, by the way. Get it in both hands and do it as slowly as you need to. And do that for this entire half hour, for whatever day, just nice at an easy tempo in every key. Okay, next is new tune. Spend 30 minutes on the new tune. We're going to do Green Dolphin Street right now. So the melody to Green Dolphin Street is this. Well, yeah, let's do metronome so you can... 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just be able to play the melody. Here, let me set this so it's actually counting the beats. This is the next thing. So after you have the melody in your right hand, be able to comp with the melody, comp left hand and play the melody. So. the point. And then also be able to just comp without playing. So now the chords are just C, C minor, D, D flat, C, F, E, A. That was a bad comping at the end of that, but you get the point. If you want specific compings for specific songs, I have a bunch of them, but ask me and I'll give you more if you need things for specific songs. Okay, so now that you've got comping and melody, do melody and bass. So you get the idea. Ask me if you want more on bass lines, because I don't think I've done a video on that yet. Okay. Oh yeah, and now be able to do comping and bass line. So it's like... Love the song. It's a great song. Okay, so do those things, and then listen and play along with a classic recording. For this one, I'd pick the Miles Davis recording, of course. And just play along with it, swing along with it, solo a little bit, comp a little bit, feel it out. Just make sure that you have a reference point for the original, or one of the originals. Okay, next is 35 minutes of transcribing. All right. I made a whole list of artists to transcribe. They're all amazing. They don't just have to be piano players. Oscar Peterson, McCoy Tyner, Herbie, Keith Jarrett, Bud Powell, but then also Charlie Parker, Cannonball Adderley, Stan Getz, Coltrane, Miles. Just pick a solo that you love and transcribe it and spend 35 minutes every day on it. I want you to focus on the following aspects as you're transcribing. Make sure you notice the comping that's happening. Even under the solo that you're transcribing. If it's a piano solo, that's easy, just left-hand comping. But if it's a sax solo, notice what the piano player is doing. Melody is obvious, very, very important. Vocabulary, notice bits of traditional jazz vocabulary that are in these solos, because it's all interwoven vocabulary. And it's important to know notice how it's being put together as you're transcribing it. Time, feel, and swing. Everybody feels different when they play, and it's important to recognize somebody's feel so that you can sort of it'll help you center your own sense of time and swing. There's contour, call and response, question and answer. There's harmonic development if you're really advanced. Like listen to how McCoy will go. He'll like do a solo, but he'll be in C minor, and then he'll move his left hand up a half step, but then he'll start a chord progression with his right hand going like A flat minor to G flat minor to E flat to A flat, or to E flat to F sharp to G sharp to B flat, and then back to C or something like that. He'll do awesome things like that. Notice those if you are a little further down the road and a little more studied. Superimposition, that's sort of what I just showed you, but Herbie does that a lot too. Colors, notice the colors that are used. Now, but make sure that you start slow on all of these. it's really important to start very slow so you can then speed it up and play it comfortably, so that you don't feel tense or rushed as you're playing it. Okay. Lastly, but not least, is soloing. So pick a standard. We just picked Green Dolphin Street, and there are 2 exercises I'm going to give you, but I'm going to make sure my phone is still running before I give those exercises. Is it? Please say it is. Yes, it is. Awesome. I reset my phone, and now it can record for longer. Okay. This is the 1 octave exercise, where we're on Green Dolphin Street, and I'm going to comp with my left hand, and I'm going to solo with my right hand, but now, I was giving a lesson to somebody the other day, and he said that he feels like he's just playing arpeggios of chords all over the place and just playing random vocabulary but not making music out of it. This exercise will solve that because it restrains you from doing any of that stuff and makes you listen to the melodies that you're creating. Pick 1 octave from the 5th to the 5th and don't move from there for the entire solo. And just practice making melodies in that context. So now Green Dolphin Street. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see. I messed up. I can't use that note, so I'll use an octave up. See? Isn't that cool? See, I wanted to go down there, but I could have gone up there. I could have gone like. Around a little bit at the end, but you can do that the whole 30 minutes. Just stay in 1 octave. You'll get better and better as you go on. Okay, and then there's a motivic exercise. Let's say we're still in Green Dolphin Street, and we're gonna do not the octave exercise, but a motivic exercise where you pick 1 little motif and you use that for your whole solo. So let's say I'll do. That's cool. So then you need to look at that interval and see where it will fit into your solo, no matter what you're playing. And you can move this down an octave, so it's actually, or you can do it upside down. You can change the key. But make sure you have that half step and that major third. So check this out. Now we're in Green Dolphin Street. 3, 4. See? See, it's hard. Strayed a little bit from there, but you get the idea. Make sure you're only doing that motif, and then you can just kind of go off if you want and like play a little bit. You gotta have some fun, like. I'm exhausted right now, but I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so look at the percentage breakdown that I gave you for all of these different things that I showed you, and ask me questions if you have specific questions about the aspects of what you're actually doing within the context of each of these. But but this should be a good breakdown and a good time breakdown. And notice also how on the chart, if you're only practicing 1 hour a day, I split up the 2 hour a day breakdown into 2 days. So you're not doing all of this stuff in 1 day. You're actually splitting it over 2 days, which I think is important because you don't want to do like a minute of something. 4 hours is ideal if you can get it in. Yeah, so thank you so much, Jan, for asking this question. I hope other people get a lot out of this, and please send me any other questions you have. And anyway, I'll be around. Talk to you soon.